Hi guys, welcome to the clinic for week 43 and 44. So we've got quite a few to get through tonight. But before we go straight into it, I just want to give you a quick tip on the I said at the event about doing like a whiteboard in your office for your 90-minute session, sorry. So this isn't what I'm showing you, but on a whiteboard, like a dry wipe marker board, if you get like post-it notes, so like I have post-it notes here where, stick them all over everything. So sticking them on the whiteboard and then like getting all your ideas down and things that you need to do on the whiteboard and use these. Then below that's like support Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you've got your 7 days underneath. And then you get your sticky note and stick it underneath. I'll put a picture in the WhatsApp group to illustrate what I mean here, what Ben's done off the back of what I told him to do. But it's just a really, if you've got a bit of a workspace at home, then it's really handy to have that on the wall, so like on a Sunday that you're planning your 90-minute sessions properly, and you're keeping on top of them, because like what we're seeing at the event was how important the 90-minute sessions are obviously critical. So they're not just important, they're absolutely critical. Sorry, I'm just moving some screens around. So being organized with the 90-minute sessions is therefore also critical, because if you're not organizing and planning the 90-minute sessions, then you're never going to get the benefit of doing them properly, are you? Because you're not really going to be getting the most out of them. So having that hour on the Sunday to spend doing your 90 minutes is really, really, really important. So again, using simple ways of organizing yourself like that with a whiteboard, post-it notes, a bit of a marker, it's not difficult. And, it's something that I'd highly recommend. I'll go a bit further into that, but I just wanted to throw that out there early on, because Ben did send me the picture, and I thought I will mention that, and I'll stick it in the WhatsApp group later. So getting into the check-ins then, there's quite a few to get through actually, so I want to try and just get into it as fast as we can, so we're being as efficient with our time as possible. But what we did have, I had a question. Sorry, let's move these screens around a bit more. Someone submitted a question that was quite in depth. I'll find it in the WhatsApp group actually, because it might be a bit easier. So, right. So Matt from Shorebrake has asked this one, and then we'll do this question and we'll get straight into the full check-ins. So I've had work lined up to run 2 jobs at once and allow me to focus on bringing in more business in. I've just lost a job that allowed me to bring on a really decent fitter, and now I'm scrambling to find the work to keep him going from mid-November and keep the growth I want. I've managed to bring in 2 kitchens and 3 bathrooms over a Monday, but the conversion time doesn't suit to get this subby going. My attitude from starting this business from the start of the renovation side since June 2024 is to go big or go home. My concern is, am I doing that too fast without proper process? It just seems that when I get my routine down with the academy, 12-step, social media, etc., something jumps in and I'm flapping. Getting my routine down, something jumps in and I'm flapping to resolve it to get back. I go back 6 months and have to restart. Is the renovation side worth shrinking down? But it brings in the whole package jobs and run correctly. I can whip the lads over to a bathroom or kitchen and profit because the plasterers are in for a week. Yeah, but that's a great idea, isn't it? But does it ever happen? I was honestly doubting the whole thing from the event until that video was played at the end. Is that good, or do I honestly need Rocky in my ear? Haha. I could just use some honest feedback on my actions right now. Well, I'm not going to say that you're fucking useless, and I'm not going to say stop crying as you put at the end of your message. But what I will say is, it sounds to me like you're in a transition at the end of the day, and this transition is, I think, for those people that have had their fingers in other pies, like renovation works. I see it with some people, that I speak to sometimes, and they go, oh, well, we're getting bedroom inquiries, or we're getting different types of inquiries. So it just pulls you away from kitchens and bathrooms. So what I would say from a business perspective is, what do I always say from a business perspective? Look where the profit is. Like these plastering jobs and renovation works, you're trying to make decisions with emotions here. And what do I always say? Make decisions with your formulas, not your feelings. So the first formula that we need to look at is these other jobs that you're doing outside of kitchens and bathrooms, are they making the money that you think that they are making and they can make? Now, obviously, I'm very well into my business journey right now. But what I realized very early on, because I was there, I was doing plastering, fucking taking walls out, and don't get me wrong, I know you have to do that sometimes with you can't always avoid the extra ancillary works around it. But what you can do is look at your numbers properly and understand what makes profit and what doesn't. Because kitchens and bathrooms for me were a big draw for this reason and this reason only. You can flip them over in 2 to 3 weeks. You can make a very predictable margin on them, and you can build a process that makes your business predictable and repetitive, which can be boring, but boring businesses are the most successful businesses. So what you've got going on here is fucking flying around trying to do bits of everything, and you're spreading yourself too thin across a number of different things. You're trying to get the lads flipping from here to there and there to there, and it all seems it's something I call a spreadsheet business. When people have got good ideas and it looks good on a spreadsheet, but it doesn't fucking ever work in reality. Yeah. So I think your comment about shrinking down the renovation side is 100% what I would be doing, because I know from my own experience that work, it can fucking drag on. The customer moves the goalpost every fucking 5 minutes, because a renovation project is never finished, is it? You know what I mean? The customer goes, oh, could you do this? Oh, could you do that? Oh, could you add that on? Oh, fucking hell. And you can't get out of them, and this is where the customers give me some extra work. But where's the profit in what they're asking you to do? And generally, for you to go back and reprice and make sure there's profit in all these little things that you need to do all the fucking time, it's just a ball ache. So when you just get rid of all that shit and just go, right, kitchens and bathrooms, fuck all else, unless it's something to do with that kitchen. So the thing you need to lead with is the kitchens and bathrooms. If other works come off the back of them, great. But don't be thinking about them creating your kitchens and bathrooms. And I know there's some builders out there that are doing that. And I'm not saying it's a really shit idea, but what I would say is that it's not the way to go. Well, it's not the way I would go anyway. And at the end of the day, you're asking me for my advice. What would I do? I'm not stupid. The reason why I went in with kitchens and bathrooms and I stayed there and I've never moved and I've done really well out of it is because they're predictable. You build trust, you make sales, you make money, you build a proper business. People that are into renovation stuff and bits of this and bits of that everywhere. And you're not doing it too fast without processes. You are just learning the processes. I mean, you're Academy Plus. You've got access to all the project management tools. So all you need to do is really hammer that WhatsApp group with any support that you need, and we'll adapt the systems to suit you. But no, I mean, you're doing something new. It's a transition. It's always going to be difficult. But there are some things you're doing that aren't helping yourself, so we can help you through all this very easily. You're not going too fast. You just need to focus on the things that matter. And that's where the profit is. And that will be where the kitchens and bathrooms are. So I'm just reading your message. I've got a screen behind me here, by the way. So if you see me like looking over there, it's because I'm reading stuff. But, I know you want to grow, but and you're saying like you've lost this job or something, and they're like that this guy, keep him going. But don't worry about stuff like that. Don't shit like that's just going to happen. You've just got to be like, yeah, like you said at the end of your message, Matt, stop crying. That particular comment there is just stop crying about it. Shit like that's going to happen. There'll be more things. You haven't got the momentum at the moment to keep people busy, and that's okay because we're not there yet. but we're not going to get that momentum to keep people busy if we're trying to chuck them over to a plastering job and then, you're trying to be clever finding gaps to keep people busy. That is not sustainable. That isn't fucking sustainable, mate. You've got to get focused on your diary needs to look like this, bathroom, 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 kitchen, kitchen, kitchen. And that is how the diary needs to be built, like I say, because if you're bouncing between different projects and different types of work, it's just a fucking nightmare. And again, so from experience, that's why in the end I just went, fuck this, I'm not doing that anymore. It's a fucking nightmare. You can't build a business out of it. You would just end up being an underpaid project manager, dealing with loads of shit and recruiting tradespeople for homeowners because your jobs are going fucking wrong all the time. Yeah, but I wouldn't be looking at throwing lads around like that. You need to get organised. And like I say, you were doubting the whole thing at the event, but doubt is normal. It just is. You're human. You'll feel these things, and it's okay. But yeah, go big or go home, definitely. But I'd go big or go home on kitchens and bathrooms and the stuff that we're giving you. Trust me when I say, if you go all in on the stuff that we give you, the media walls, I don't know what you've got on your website or what you've signed up to, but let's, for instance, say you've got bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, fucking hell. There's so much work out there with those things. You don't need other things. You just don't. You just need to go all in on the stuff that we've given you and try and get rid of some of the noise that's going on elsewhere. In terms of processes, yeah, I think you need to probably book in a call with John, who's in your WhatsApp group. I know you've been speaking anyway, but you've put a message to me in your group as well there about you having so many problems with the deposit process. I haven't seen that. And customers feeling comfortable. I'm asking products paid at 50% labour and rest on completion. I'm not sure if it's the water in Somerset or the fact that there's some endless list of shipbuilders. I've had to rearrange terms twice now. I'm putting stage payments, jobs over 20k all in. Any advice? Or do I need to flex each customer as I build it? Yeah, I mean, that thing, what you mentioned there about, I'm sorry I've missed that comment, by the way. I think because there's so many messages flying around at the moment. I'm coming out of some of the WhatsApp groups now, some of the tech support groups I'm coming out of because this is why, because I'm missing things like this. So I am only from now on going to be in the 12 steps groups because I miss things like this. It pisses me off. So sorry about that. But yeah, bend your terms early on, mate. The thing is, what you're probably struggling with here is because you're sort of sat in between two camps. You're not absolutely 100% in on kitchens and bathrooms. So we need to build that brand up a little bit more. And yeah, customers, yeah, jobs over 20k, I get it. Sometimes if the job's such high value, bend your terms to suit as long as it's still fair on you and you're not out of pocket. The main thing is reducing your risk and you not being out of pocket. The whole deposit system is there to protect you and make sure that you're not going into debt for other customers' jobs. So if you need to stagger the cash flow, that's fine. We're working off recommendations here, but if you need to sort of bend it to suit and it's a sale at the end of the day, do what you need to do. But just make sure that you're never taking on risk for someone else. So that's a lesson for everyone. If your customer's pulling the face a bit, I have done it a few times. I haven't done it very often, but I've done it quite a few times where I've said to the customer, right, okay, when they've pulled the face a bit at the deposit thing, which you've got to be able to read the customer and go, are you trying to take the fucking piss or are you genuinely worried? Do you know what I mean? There's two types of people here. So you've got to be careful that you're not falling foul to someone who's just going to take the fucking piss and hold money back and be a pain in the ass and complain about everything. So if it's genuinely someone that just needs that bit of reassurance, then do what makes them feel comfortable, but never go into debt for them. That no one's worth going into debt for. That's why I say we don't use trade. We don't give people credit because you shouldn't be needing credit. You should be taking deposits and paying for your stuff because any sort of risk like that shouldn't be sat on you. This is their fucking job at the end of the day. This is their kitchen, not yours. So I hope that answers everything that you need, mate. But yeah, it is just a case of grab your balls and crack on and focus on the right things. I don't think you've got big problems here. This is just normal business growth. And that's what sort of echo to everyone tonight before we even get into the check-ins, is that all the shit people are feeling is normal. It's funny, like everyone thinks it's the end of the world when there's a problem going on or things aren't quite right. But, it is, you've broken away. You've decided to break away from the pack. Yeah, it's okay to be different. But if you're going to be different, you're going to have challenges. If you want to have an extraordinary life, you've got to do extraordinary things. And the disciplines that I'm asking you to do on the Sunday, your scorecard, your cash flow, planning your 90 minutes, normal people don't do these things, but normal people have normal lives. You don't want a normal life. You want to earn more than most people. You want to have a better life than most people. So then you got to do more than most people. You have to be a little bit extraordinary if that's what if that's what you want. So you've got to sort of look at it and go, yeah, everything comes at a cost. If I want a better life, I've got to put a bit more in, and it's going to be challenging and it's going to be uncomfortable. Even what we're doing next year, like I've been saying to you a lot about getting ready for 2026, we're doing the same thing as well. We're doing loads of stuff to get ready for 2026. I mean, my schedule between now and the 31st of December is fucking hideous. Even I'm not enjoying it at the times, you know what I mean? But that's just, we pick our battles, don't we? We decide what we're going to do and we just go and do it. And yes, there's always going to be challenges, but we're not pussies at the end of the day. And we just have to fucking get on with it. Unless we are a pussy and we give up. Like I say, there are pussies who won't, see it through because they'll just listen to their own bullshit and, disengage from people around them that are successful and listen to themselves or listen to the wrong people. And that's not something that you can afford to do, unfortunately. You've got to carry on. Because what's the price of slipping back? Do you get what I mean? You just got to grab your balls, mate, and carry on. Get on with it. You've got a WhatsApp group there. You've got think about this for everyone that's watching. You've got a WhatsApp group, right, where you've got constant access to the best people, absolutely the best people in the industry that can advise you on what to do next, literally at the tip of your fingers. So you don't need to worry about what to do next. If you're not sure, you just ask and you do it, and you're going to get the highest value, quality advice that's available in this industry. There's no one better than me, Lee, John, and the people that you've got around you. Everyone, could fucking rattle off. I could rattle off 7 or 8 names of people that are absolutely A players who are on my team and are there to support you. So, just need to ask if you need anything and get on with it. So, right, let's move on to check-in 1, Matty from Plain Sailing. And again, I think this is more of a skimming the surface. I think this is a sort of a pivot check-in where there's not really, there's just a few things that we need to iron out here and get past it. So, celebrating wins. What successes have you experienced in the last few weeks? We have just completed the first bathroom and it wasn't as bad as my head made it. In fact, it went really well. Well, brilliant, because again, you've always been joiners and now you're doing bathrooms. And it's funny how everyone crosses this border into bathrooms and goes, you know what, it's not actually that bad. It's very similar to kitchens in some ways. So we've completed 3 supply and fit kitchens. We have had 3 quotes go out so that we didn't win, but all the customers loved the sales process and the quotes came in over budget, but they didn't want to try and bat us down on price. They were happy to get a dog shit kitchen from another company. I'm taking this as a win because the price is the price. And in the past, I would have knocked down our profit to get the job. Yeah, just had a customer pop back up as they was the first quote we ever did through KBB, and it looks like they are going ahead now. Well, that's mad, isn't it? And it's funny how people, that's where the CRM comes into its own and having this record of your past quotes, because without it, you could have lost sight of that. Obviously, you got to re-quote it. Sean has now left the business, and I now can see he was holding us back, working all day with a grumpy, making it hard and wants to do anything when I get back to the laptop. And everything he said he wasn't. He said he was doing, he wasn't. So basically, here's another partnership. This is a trend that's definitely now in the academy. So partnerships are becoming a very unsuccessful sign of anything progressive. I think there are partnerships in the academy that work, but they only work when people are very clear on what each other does. When you're sort of trying to share things and do this, and it just doesn't fucking work. There only needs to be one chef in the kitchen at the end of the day. So, I think where the partnerships, where somebody says, right, you're the chef and I'm not, then they're the type of partnerships that work. But when there's two people trying to be the fucking chef or make out like they're the chef, then it doesn't work. So, yeah, so you've got through that. There's another. Well, what's good, what I must say about these partnerships that have broken down within the academy is that the businesses, most of them, have carried on. And that, to me, is the biggest win of the academy, is that it shows that there's enough support around you to survive through something like that. And you're not the first, you won't be the last. So 12 steps transition, where are you up to with this? You're going back through social media and Canva stuff, and then we'll start from the beginning for a refresh. Cool. There is some more stuff coming in the social media section towards the new year for obviously media walls, bedrooms, all that type of stuff. So we are adding quite a lot of stuff into there, just so you know. Scorecard and cash flow sheet. I haven't done my cash flow, and I have done my cash flow, and it's not looking too bad, especially now Sean's wage doesn't have to be found, and seeing it in numbers has taken a load off my mind. Scorecard is being started again end of the week. I haven't been doing it, but it's in the diary to be done every Friday from now on. Good. I can't stress enough, like, if you don't keep your eye on the numbers, your scorecard and your cash flow sheet tell you everything you need to know. If you're not looking at it, you'll feel overwhelmed. So, personal growth. What progress have you made on a personal level? My health problems are being managed now, so that's helping. I feel a lot better working by myself. I was with the wrong person the whole time. I stopped talking to old mates who are a waste of space a long time ago, but I was working with one the whole time. So yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not surprised at what's happened here. Sean was a nice guy, but I could see that there was something was going to give at some point, and it's happened. Is what it is. Move on. Areas for support. I think I'm okay, but I'm sure I'll be on the phone and in contact a lot more. Just going to have to manage the time well. Yeah, because I did mention to Lee that you'd been a bit quiet a few weeks ago. I said, not heard much from Matt and Sean recently, and I think he sort of pointed out at the time that, I think there's something's going to happen there. I'm like, okay. So we were sort of waiting for this, to be honest, and I'm glad that now that it's happened, you've put in your check-in straight away, and you haven't sort of, sat on it. You're back at the races now. You're engaging again, and then when people do go quiet, there's not much going on in the WhatsApp group, and they're not checking in. We do know that these are signs that people they're either doing really well, and then there are some people out there that just don't want to or need to, but I'd say for 70-80% of people, it's something that keeps them moving forward. And especially for the people that aspire for being off the tools and being quite a lot more successful than most, definitely need to be in frequent contact with us in the WhatsApp group and doing check-ins, because you're only one daft decision away from fucking it up, and that's what we're here to stop you from doing. And you might not think that would happen to you, but trust me, I've seen it. Looking ahead, what's the plan? How can we best support you over the next 6 weeks? Get back in the driving seat, I just said that, and work out how to manage time well. I'm going to get some whiteboards and keep my head in the game. Yeah, remember what I said to you a minute ago about having a whiteboard with your post-it notes on it above, like plan your 90-minute sessions there, and then do Monday to Sunday at the bottom, like lines in between, and then get a post-it note and go, right, I'll do that day, I'll do that one that day. Honestly, it helps a lot. But that's it. I mean, that's the end of your check-in, mate. Really, really good to see that you're back in the room, per se, that you've been through this issue with your partner. That's sorted. You've got your head back in the game, which is always critical. Because you can't afford to go missing it. You've got to stay on it. And well done. I'm looking forward to having a bit more communication with you in the WhatsApp group. Just bear in mind, like I've said a couple of times tonight, is I am only in the 12 steps groups from now on. I am not in the tech and support groups anymore. I've taken myself out of them just literally because of what you've seen a minute ago, where I'm missing some of the messages because I'm getting bombarded with stuff from them groups which I don't really need to see. So there will be more focus from me on you guys that are at the 12 step stage. So we're going to move on to Enzo next. So, right, mate, let's crack on. So, celebrating wins. What successes have you experienced past few weeks? Year's goal was achieved, fully off subcontracting a few months back, and I have got back to supplying fit work running beyond Christmas, which is massive for me. I also set up a financial plan with a professional who has set up my retire at 60 plan, showcasing a great path to save and invest, which is more than doable with current earnings. That's just like, that's drop the mic in it, really. You got yourself into a good earnings position. You're being sensible. You're looking forward to the future. It just feels so much nicer when you know you're earning enough money to hit that age with that pot. It just takes the stress out of everything, doesn't it? You're just like, I can enjoy myself now because I know that I can sort of enjoy life, So well done, mate. 12 steps transition. Where are you up to? Don't look as often as I should, hoping to address in the 90-minute sessions. Yeah. Your next step is to know everything that's in them 12 steps like the back of your hand, because that's everything that you need to know. Obviously, there will be more things at events and meetings that are coming up in the new year. But between now and then, you need to be really hot on the 12 steps and understanding what's in them properly. Scorecard and a cash flow sheet. Cash flow isn't up to date, but scorecard isn't too far off. Now, this is wishy-washy, mate. You need to be absolutely religious about that cash flow sheet and the scorecard. You can't be putting that in there. You've got to be putting in there that you know where things are up to. I'm just going to go to your scorecard. I mean, your scorecard is not horrific, but it could be better. You know that already because if you're being wishy-washy with it. And don't get too drawn up in the, money's not the indicator of everything. People think that money is the measure of success. It isn't. Money's not the measure of success. You'll only learn that the hard way, but try and trust me on that. That having lots of money floating around doesn't mean that you're actually successful, or that you've got a good business. And I'm not saying you haven't, by the way. I'm just saying don't start taking your eye off the ball with other things because you're doing well. You slip back a lot quicker than you think. Personal growth. What progress have you made on a personal level? Not loads, I'll be honest. Been working tirelessly, leave no time for any hobbies or exercise. Now work is consistent. I need to establish balance. Yeah, you do. But there's always periods of this. There's always periods of intense work and then it comes off a little bit. And just take it for what it is at the moment. While you're in this mode of no hobbies and no exercise, try and get the exercise in first, yeah? Make sure your diet stays on point though, yeah? Because what we don't want is no hobbies, no exercise, and the diet starts to fucking take you in a worse of a direction. So get your, first and foremost, eat properly, yeah? And exercise, just get 10,000 steps a day in. So the bare minimum just wants to be 10,000 steps a day and eating well, not eating processed foods, not going over calories, that, just make sure you're staying hydrated, do the basics. Because anyone can do that, no matter how busy you are, everybody can keep themselves healthy. And at times where you're going in on it, you just need to stay healthy. Yeah, we'll pick up the exercise, the maybe the gym going and the hobbies later. Let's just really get the business where it needs to be. And sometimes we need a bit of toxic productivity in terms of getting it, getting things really fucking where they need to be for a few months to then pull back and go, because I did it, I do it now sometimes. I've just done it recently, to be honest, where, last few weeks I've put a bit of weight on. I've took my eye off the ball with a few things because I've been so fucking deep in things that you just do this from time to time. No matter what level you're at, and it's just part of being a human. And don't get too worried about it. Just you've recognised it. Let's just get to Christmas and then New Year. Let's start again, yeah. But right now, let's just go all in on the business. Areas for support. Is there anything specific you need help with? Job and trades management advice. Work efficiently without letting trades get away with things because the mates or worked alongside for a while. Unsure if finance is an issue, managing to take sales with it, but as you can only take 50% deposit, sometimes leaves you short materials, leaving you to front money until the ball ache. So obviously it's like releasing money. This is the problem with offering finance. It is a cash flow. It does impact your cash flow. It makes your process clunky. So I don't know really. It's a tricky one, this. They are higher risk, the finance jobs. So I must admit that, I remember them myself where the paperwork's a fucking pain in the ass. I think you've got to just manage it for what it is. If taking your 50% up front is a problem, because it will leave you a bit short, won't it, that? Because the ideal number is normally, when you factor in your 40% on installation and your materials, it normally lands around 65, 70%. There can be some cash flow. The thing is with the finance jobs, you've got to look at them and go, they're probably 1 in 10. So if it's 1 in 10, is it an issue? You just got to accept that on that particular job, it's higher risk and the cash flow is not as good. But overall, in your cash flow sheets and all the rest of it, it doesn't really make a fucking difference. Do you get what I mean? It's whether you're comfortable with what's involved in offering that as a service. That's something you've got to work out for yourself. But in terms of, don't hone in on, that's the way it is. It's only that way for those jobs. Do you get what I mean? It's not like that for every job, is it? So, I mean, if finance jobs are becoming 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, and there's fucking, it's getting loads of them, then I think we need to revisit that. But I think if it's 1 or 2 in 10, I'd just run with it. If you've got cash in the bank, just accept that there's going to be a bit of a shortfall on this one. You'll catch it back up in a couple of weeks. In the main, it'll just swill around in your cash flow sheet. It won't really make a difference. But obviously, if it gets to above and beyond that and you're feeling it, then I think that's when we need to have a separate conversation about it. So just come back to me on that. If that hasn't resolved that in your head, then let me know what else I need to tell you. But right now, if it's a very low number, I wouldn't worry about it. Just keep offering it. And if it becomes a bigger problem later, we'll deal with it then. Jobs and trades management advice, working efficiently without letting trades get away with things. So opening your WhatsApp groups on the jobs. I think in the academy, we'll need to do something around project management properly. So we do mention it in the customer journey tracker lesson, but I think we need to do something else. So we've got opening WhatsApp groups is essential. When your job starts, open up WhatsApp groups and communicate clearly with people. The 2D planner that's in the academy, like the 2D floor plan creator thing that I told everyone to use. It's not ours, but it's a good tool. You make sure everyone's got clear, like, this is what you're doing. That's what your price is for. That's when they need to have it done by, because you are stepping into project management world now. The problem is when you're working with people that you work with for a long time, is it's a good and a bad thing. Yes, you've got a bit of trust and loyalty, but you've also got that element of, they don't fucking take you seriously. So this might be a case of you having to set your stall out. I think what you need to do here is send us, like, you're in your Academy Plus as well. So again, what I'll probably do is book in a call with John and go, right, how do I organize these guys properly? And have a half an hour chat with John about organising your trades on site and using the Monday boards properly to organise things. I'd like you to do that first before you come back to me, because there's tools in the academy now as an Plus member, and John's there as, he's in your WhatsApp group because he looks after those tools. So I feel like you need to get to grips with them properly, and then possibly look at recruiting more people that are different and sort of starting afresh with a new system, some new people, and sort of mix it in. Especially if this group of people feel like you depend on them, they'll take the piss even more. As soon as people feel like you depend on them, their attitude changes. So you've got to play boss here. You can't be held to ransom because people know you and they think, oh yeah, he won't do anything. Do you know what I mean? He won't show his teeth. You need to show your teeth. and make sure that people understand that you're a fucking business owner and they work for you. Yes, it's nice to be friends and it's nice to be nice, but it's a professional relationship at the end of the day. So, and that's what they need to be reminded of if they need reminding. But again, this is another one of them times where you might be breaking away from the old crowd that you've always been part of, and this is part of the pain that comes with it, unfortunately. But is it pain? I don't think it is. I think it's good that you're growing. It's good that you're thinking different. You're spotting these things already. They've not quite happened yet, but you're noticing that these people that you've been around for a while are not quite probably going to be the ones that stay with you along the way, and that's okay. Any major concerns? No, money is always a stress for me, but I feel I've built a decent buffer. Money, we're programmed to worry about money, mate. You'll be worrying about money. If you have a £2 million business, you'll still fucking worry about money. You know what I mean? That is not going away. It's just something that is with us no matter what, because we have to manage it. It is always a big threat if we don't. But again, I still don't think you're helping yourself as much as you can be, because your scorecard's not up to date. So you're going to worry about money. So put 2 and 2 together, mate. Cash flow isn't up to date, but scorecard isn't far off. And then lower down, money is always a stress for me, because you're not clear on your numbers. You're not 100% clear on where you're at. So money's always going to be a stress when you don't know what the fuck's going on in your cash flow sheet, because you'll always be thinking, oh, I'm looking at your bank balance. Checking your bank balance is an amateur's way of managing a business. It's asking for a disaster, running off your bank balance. Again, go back to lesson 2, I think it is, in the academy. Go back to step 1, 2, and 3, and go to the lesson about cash flow and margins and all the rest of it. There's only 3 numbers you need to know. Your turnover, your gross margin, and your overheads. If you know those 3 numbers, and you know on a monthly basis, I need that number of turnover to stay safe, then you shouldn't be worrying here. So that's what I'm saying. If you're worrying about money, you are not tuned in well enough. You're not tuned in well enough, because your business isn't that complicated. It's very mathematically, it's a very simple business. So if you're still stressed about money, that's telling me that you've already told me you're not doing your cash flow sheet properly, but you are not understanding the maths as well. So you need to go back to, I think it's 2 or 3, I can't remember which one it is, but one of the early steps in the academy, and go through the mathematics lesson again and understand it properly, because if you did, you wouldn't be saying these things. So looking ahead, what's the plan? Slowly come off the tools. Next year, maybe do 1 to 2 a month on the tools. Iron out the money I've been costing myself on bathrooms. I don't know what you mean by that. And then land 3 to 5 jobs a month. So yeah, good. Things are all right, but you've got a bit of work to do before Christmas here, mate. Action list should be clear, but just to recap, booking a call with John, get to grips with your project management tools in the academy, review your recruitment, look for some new people basically, and make these people around you realize that they're not indispensable, and if they fuck around, they're gone. So that's the attitude you need to have. You need to be fucking brutal with it, and get into the early steps, the mathematics lessons in the academy, recap on that, make sure you understand it by the new year, fucking 100%, and get your cash flow and scorecard bang up to date every Sunday, and take this stress of money away, because it doesn't need to be there. You shouldn't be stressing about money. Think how contradictory what you've said is tonight. You've sat down with someone and you've got a plan up to 60, which is more than doable with the current earnings. Then you're saying that your cash flow sheet and scorecard is off. And then further down, you're saying you're fucking worried about money. So which one is it? Have we got a plan to a 60 with the current earnings, and is it in it? And is everything okay? Or we're worried about money? You see what I mean? The 2 things can't sit in the same breath, because if we were doing the stuff that we should be doing, then them comments wouldn't be there. Okay, so we need to dial in, mate. You need to dial in here, mate, because if you want to get to 3 to 5 jobs next year, you've got some gaps to fill, or you're going to get found out. Okay, and we know what those gaps are. We'll just give you them. Okay, so go and crack on with them, and let's get another check-in done in another couple of weeks' time. Let's not take our foot off the gas with these check-ins now, because before Christmas and before the new year, I need another 2 check-ins off you, to make sure that you are on track with this. Okay, because if you hit 1st of January and you've already got the goal of 3 to 5 a month next year, you are not yet prepared for it. Yeah. And obviously all what we're aiming for at the moment is to get everyone ready for the new year. So let's do it. Okay. 2 more check-ins on your list of things to do there, please. Cool. But other than that, you've done fucking amazing. But we are going to be coming down harder and harder on those that are doing well to make sure that you stay between the lines for your own benefit, obviously. But we want to build businesses. This is what we need to do, innit? Can't be pissing around. Your family won't appreciate it if you take your eye off the ball after all this time and effort. Right, so the next check-in we're doing is Steve McDonald, check-in 3 from SGM Kitchens. So, celebrating wins. What successes have you experienced over the past few weeks? Won a supply and fit along with a builder supply last month, which I'm currently fitting now. Recording process on social media as well. Brilliant. What was the first time I found better cash flow as a whole due to 2 jobs plus other smaller jobs combined. Right, okay, so now you're starting to find a few jobs happening at the same time. Cash flow obviously feels better. That's good. 12 steps transition, where you're up to with this, how you finding it? After the event, I found myself to get back into the better habit of watching, learning, and putting into action. Good. Because it's no point, like I've said it a million times, say it again. If you're just watching videos and just binge watching, that's fine, or whatever you're doing, but you've got to put the actions into place. You've got to take the learning. You've got to extract from me what you need to actually do, not just look at it and think about it. Scorecard and a cash flow sheet. Not using scorecard since last year, but we'll be using more. Not more, every week. Stopped due to changes in the program and got confused with it. Well, the cash flow, that's bollocks. The scorecard and cash flow sheet have never changed. The program has never fucking changed with the cash flow and the scorecard sheet. Cash flow have put it into follow the process, but still don't understand it. The thing that I struggle with are working out the actual true costs and what should be charged out in terms of an hourly rate. Sometimes they don't feel right compared to other companies. Who cares? Do your own maths, mate. It doesn't matter. Do you think that we look around, what they charge, what these charge? Like, your business is your business. You put your costs in, and mark them up 30%. Everyone's costs will be fairly similar in the industry. The only thing that people do differently is people have different price points where they're starting from. So, certain suppliers will have lower costs on these products and those products, but do you get what I mean? So it all fucking swings in roundabouts. So you're overthinking. Why are you thinking about other companies? What the fuck have your numbers got to do with other companies? Your cost is your cost. If you need some support here properly, then we'll look at it. In terms of an hourly rate, you talk about hourly rate here, but we need to put prices in for things. So again, I'm a bit confused about what it is you mixed up with, because you were talking about quoting and then the cash flow sheet in the same breath. So I'm like, where's the problem here? Cash flow, I have put in to follow the process, but still don't understand it. Right. Well, the video in the academy explains it. So if you need more help on how to do the cash flow sheet, then you're going to have to be more specific on what it is you don't understand, because that is a very broad comment. So I can't dig into that without going through the whole thing again, which the video is in the academy to go through it all. So if you need to come back to us, use your WhatsApp group, please, and say specifically, what is it you're struggling with in the cash flow sheet? Why don't you understand it? What is the problem here? You've not told me what the problem is. You just said you don't understand it. But there's lessons in the academy that explain it. So I'm struggling to help you here. The thing that I struggle with is working out the actual true costs. Well, that's not your cash flow sheet. Your true costs are what you're quoting. So what we're saying is here, we don't know what we should be quoting and we don't know what to put in the cash flow sheet. So there's 2 big gaps here that, and then that last comment, sometimes I don't feel right compared to other companies. Well, who are you comparing yourself to? Again, you're not telling me who. Are you saying one-man bands, bigger company? And how do you even know what they're charging? If you want to battle one-man bands and compete with one-man bands, then you'll be a fucking one-man band. But look at your website, look at everything that you're offering. You're not a fucking one-man band. You should be more expensive than a one-man band who doesn't offer the same level of service and product and customer journey that you're offering. So get your head out of that space of comparison immediately. and come back to us in the WhatsApp group on what the actual gaps are here. I'll ask Lee directly to reach out to you on this because I'm a bit lost on what the issue is. Provide scorecard, not provided. Personal growth, what progress have you made on a personal level? Always struggle with sleep, but started back at the gym slowly and working on better sleep, body, more alert, waking up before my alarm. Good. So we're getting into a nice healthy rhythm. So hopefully we can use some of that brain power that we're going to get to sort these problems out by being healthy. Areas for support: need help on pricing jobs correctly, as you've just said, and not pricing some of them due to holding back. Work out a plan of action to clear my debts. There's no idea where to start. Okay, right. So that's something we can do, but again, we need a lot more information from you on that. What level of debt we're trying to clear? You know, there's loads of people in the academy that came in it with debt and now don't have it. So getting rid of the debt isn't going to be a problem. But again, you see how you all leave clues in your check-ins, because you're saying you're not pricing properly and then you've got debt and then you don't understand this. You are not tuned into your numbers. I can't. This is one of them things that I'm getting fucking sick of saying, because you've got to understand the fucking numbers in business. If you don't understand the numbers, and this is where, you know, like Matt's question earlier about these other, everyone's problems so far tonight are only because they're not fucking tuned into numbers. Why is it that we can't get our head into the numbers, knowing where your fucking profit's coming from, knowing where your pricing should be? This is all in the academy, and these are the fundamental, these are the cornerstones of making the future of your success is around the fucking numbers. It's the maths that matter, you know. And every fucking problem that's coming out here so far tonight is because we're not paying attention to the numbers. We're not spending the time to properly understand the maths behind how our businesses work. You know, we can't just wing it by making sales. Oh, there's profit there. And just like, oh, yeah, all right, we all start like that. But come on, like, none of you guys up to this point tonight you're not in there for 5 minutes. You've been here for quite a while. You know, and I think there's a bit of a come the fuck on and get to grips with this now, because these aren't difficult numbers to work out. You know, why are we still talking about pricing like after this amount of time? It's frightening, to be honest. I'll be honest, it's fucking frightening. It's scaring me a little bit. Any major concerns? Sally wants to move, please. Right, okay, so the issues that you've put in that are quite personal, I'm not going to read them out, but obviously you mentioned the debt. Business is in a good place, just need to push more. So you, and you know, like your partner there, is this is what you've got to make decisions in life, right? And again, this is completely off the topic here of business. It's just about man to man, person to person advice, right? You've got to work on yourself. Yeah. If you are not looking after yourself, building yourself, it's like when you see these daft things on the internet. People say, if you was down to your last £1,000, how would you spend it? And they always say the same thing. I'd invest in myself. You don't go and buy something, a course or something like that. You need to invest in yourself. Yeah. And this is where, again, look what we said tonight, not knowing numbers, leaving information on the table and then getting stressed because you don't fucking learn it. And then you can't make decisions on what to do because it all comes back to numbers. Every time that someone brings a problem to me, the only gap between your thinking and my thinking is that you think with emotions and I think with formulas. Yeah. So if you can't explain this in numbers, I'm not interested. Do you get what I mean? And this is a huge problem. So developing yourself will mean that you understand things better, do some self-help. You've got a partner that needs your support, right? That's not fucking going away. So you have got to become bigger and better than how you are now, yeah? To deal with your problems, you've got to get bigger and better. You can't wait or hope that things are going to get easier, because guess what? They're fucking not. They're not going to get easier. Yeah, everything on a scale for all of you right now is going to get harder. All of you. Nothing is getting easier, right? You're not going into this journey going, oh, it's going to get easier. It's not going to get fucking easier. It's going to get harder. What is going to have to happen is you get tougher. You learn more. It gets easier not because it's easier. It gets easier because it feels easier. Yeah? Because of what it actually is and how it feels are two different things. Like to me, all this doesn't feel difficult at all. It feels very easy. It's not because it is easy. It's because I have built myself up to a point of knowledge and confidence where I can just rattle it off. And that's where you need to get. And you might think, oh yeah, but you've been at it much longer than me. But everything's right in front of you. Everything is in that academy. And when I'm reading these things on here, all I'm seeing is you're watching the videos, but you're not absorbing it. You're not doing the fucking proper learning that's really making you move forward. You sort of paying lip service to it. And when you're having problems, you're slipping back. The reason why you're slipping back is because you haven't got something solid to hold on to. And the thing that you need to hold on to that's solid is the knowledge and the confidence to do the right thing and think with the formulas and not the feelings. Yeah. So that's my advice on the issues that you're having. You will get your fucking debts paid off and you'll deal with the problems at home if you become a bigger and better person. It's that simple. But when we don't engage and we don't fucking learn things that are important, everything's going to feel difficult. And you know, life is difficult. I'm not going to stand there and say, oh, it's going to get really easy one day. Even if you have loads of money, it's fucking hard, right? So what are we waiting for here? Like sometimes, yeah, business is in a good place, but need to push more, push a fucking lot more, a lot more. And not just push, not intensity, consistency, just understanding the basics again and getting to grips with the numbers. Because a lot of people are just making shit decisions or not making decisions at all because they're out of touch with the numbers. Oh, I'm not doing my cash flow sheet, but I'm stressed about money. Oh, is there a fucking wonder? Looking ahead, how can we best support you? Looking to clear job quotes, get accounting, tax returns up to date, and start managing my time better. Start scorecard, project management, cash flow, blah, blah, blah. Start regular early morning gym. Yeah, so you need to, again, get your head around the things that you've got. Talk to us about quoting these jobs. What is it you're not sure about with quoting jobs? Booking a call with Lee and sort that fucking number thing out and the cash flow thing, and you'll go through it with you in more detail. You know, if we need to do that, that's what we'll do. But we've got to fucking pick this up here. Got to fucking pick it up. Like some of this is not. I don't think it's. I think you need to be doing better. Personally, I think there's, for people that have been in for 5 minutes, we can have this conversation. But when you're looking at people that have been in for like over a year, and we're still not fucking pricing properly, and we still can't work out, like, I don't know. I don't know where to fucking go with that, I'm afraid. It really is quite demoralizing. Right, so moving on. Next, we've got Jay from J Kitchen Fitters. Please fucking pick my mood up here, mate. Fuck's sake. Celebrating wins. Surveyed a job over a month ago and did a design session last week, late night. Client was really grateful to go late and won the kitchen job, even though I was double rent's price. Done another survey and waiting for design team to send over information. This was one from an existing client, but hasn't looked elsewhere, so it's all good. Well, it just shows that the trust in your brand is coming through, and people are not shopping around; they're just coming to you, and that's a really good sign. And it's good that you've weaned yourself off this builder relationship that you were stuck in with as well. I've noticed your last couple of check-ins, I haven't heard much mention of that, and you're starting to win your own jobs now, and I'm really happy for that. 12 steps transition. Where you're up to, going back to the start and going through steps 1 to 3, making sure I get them down, sorting out my times to 90-minute sessions each week and get them set in the days so it's the same habit each week. Brilliant. That's what this is the way forward. As I've said, I'm not going to repeat what I've just said a minute ago, but that's the way forward. Scorecard and cash flow sheet are using these. Using the scorecard, but cash flow sheet, not really. Never been good at this one, but have a post in my screen saying just do the fucking cash flow sheet so I learn to keep an eye on it. So you're in a part of your journey where you're starting to just win your own jobs. So, right. So early on, you can sort of get away with it, but you're going to have to pay some attention to it soon. I'm not going to repeat everything I've just said about that, but your stress levels are going to go through the fucking roof if you don't start doing it. Personal growth. Started drinking electrolytes every day for a couple of months now, and it does make me feel better. It certainly does. Still only having the odd glass of vino once or twice a month. Drinking plenty of water and eating healthy. Finally got a neurology appointment for March. Cool. That's for your headaches, innit? So yeah, that's good. That's a fucking nightmare, innit? But yeah, health is on the way up. That's good. Staying hydrated, electrolytes, massive, massive when you're trying to stay focused. Areas for support. Not going to say it's at the same time. Haha. So basically, you're shying away from the support bit there, which, I'm quite glad you've done that actually, because you could have gone through that fucking roof. But no, I know you. The thing is, I can see in your check-ins that you're moving in the right direction. And again, some of the guys are moving at a slightly quicker pace, and they're feeling the pinch because they're not doing the basics. They're still not quoting properly. They're not fucking got the head around the numbers properly, and things like this. So don't be in that camp, please, because it's really frustrating for you and me. Make sure that you've already said above that you're going to put the time and do the 90-minute sessions and all that stuff. So let's just make sure that we're not lying to ourselves or each other. Looking ahead, how can we support you? I've spent days and hours last month revamping all the social media pics, new pics, words, styles. Noticed there's a few members local to me flooding Facebook groups with your media. So decided to change them up a bit. Would be better instead of posting the same. Yeah, it's a fair point, actually. Long process, but we'll be much better to try and stand out different. Yeah, again, using the templates in the academy, because you've got the ones that you can upload, but there are a lot of templates in there as well. I think for a lot of you now, it should be, I'm not saying don't use the CSVs for the uploads, but I think when you're in your first sort of 6 months, you just want something to get out there quickly. It's good, but I think for someone like, the people that are further on, should be looking at, editing the templates and putting their own logos on and stuff like that. So the plan is to start New Year with all new content that's different to what's out there now and get more jobs in the calendar. We'd love to get some images of bathrooms, offices, media walls. So basically, I've said earlier on tonight that we're going to be creating them and putting some templates in the academy for you. So that is coming shortly. So, but other than that, mate, yeah, I'm just glad for you personally that you've got your hospital appointment sorted out, and obviously your health is on the way up, because again, these are cornerstone habits, and that you are away from this builder relationship that you were very tightly controlled by. I think what I'm feeling here is that you've got some independence now, and again, get the cash flow sheet and all that stuff up and running before the new year. But make sure that you are not, slipping into sort of trying to get busy in the new year and still not knowing your numbers and all that shit. Because again, you've seen how frustrating it is that, yeah, I mean, I get annoyed because I've said it so many times, understand the numbers, the formulas, not feelings, and I obviously I'm here to help. I'm here to help, and I am always going to do that. But I can't hide the frustration when I get, I don't know, like this fucking, I don't even know what it is. It's like, people that have been here for quite a while. It's like when it's like right at the beginning when everyone was talking about doing the looms, and the looms were a big deal, and it takes ages to get people to do them. But when they do it, they see that, fucking, why was he overthinking that? It's like the scorecards and the cash flow sheets are the same. Like they're overthinking it, not doing it, and then they're like, but then they mention that they're stressed about the things that are a direct result of not doing it, and it's like, and we're still having conversations about things that are just bad maths at the end of the day. It's just bad maths at the end of the day. I'm going to have to do some more content on this, because I feel like I've rather not done a good enough job of getting some of these things out there, or something's amiss. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely a problem. So next we're going to Dan Seeley. No, we're not. Let's stick to the order, Aaron, that you've wrote down. Otherwise, head will fall off. We're going to go to Oliver next, then we'll go to Dan. So Oliver Omer next. And let's start with number 1, which is celebrating wins. Right, so celebrating wins. What successes have you experienced in the last few weeks? After the KBB live event, I feel a lot more focused and have a lot more sight on where I need to be with the goals and building my business. I have recently completed a couple of kitchens, labour only, and I've also secured a number of joinery carpentry jobs, which have the opportunity to win further works, which would be kitchens or bathrooms. On the labour only jobs, mate, make sure that you get reviews, and even try and do a case study from them as well on your website. Now, I know you're fairly new, so you might be saying, well, I didn't fit, it wasn't my kitchen. Doesn't matter. There'll be one of the ranges that you can find that looks like the kitchen that you've just fitted. Get a review off them, do a case study, make up some shit around the budget and all the stuff that's in the case study template. Doesn't matter. Don't overthink it. These assets are massive. So even if you're doing labour only work, please make sure that you're getting reviews off people anyway. And if you can sneak a case study in on your website around it as well, definitely need to do that. 12 steps transition, where are you up to with this? I'm currently on step 2, getting a great understanding of my numbers. Thank fuck for that. I have been going through the videos and learning over and over again until each piece is starting to click. Fucking hell. Wow. This is the check-in that I needed, because my energy has just come back up, because why can't everyone fucking do this? I've started using the examples for markup and margin to understand where my quoting is not quite there yet and what I'm losing and in on each job. I mean, fucking hell. It's like that God has just answered me and just give me the check-in that I needed, because fucking hell. Let's just read it again. And I'll just say something as well. Again, Oliver's very new, into the academy. Very new. So maybe the academy is easier now to come into because people are just starting off with one thing. And I understand that people have been here for a while and we've changed things a few times. But we have said a number of times, if you need to start again from step 1 and go through it and use your 90-minute sessions for it, do it. Because really, as soon as you get to the end of step 12, what should you do then? Go back to step 1 and just keep doing it until it's in. And obviously you've got your weekly checklist to do and all the rest of it. But, fucking hell. So I want to read it again just for a bit of check-in porn, to be honest. I'm currently on step 2, getting a greater understanding of my numbers. I have been going through the videos and learning over and over again until each piece is starting to click. I have started using the examples for markup and margin to understand where my quoting is not quite there yet and where I am losing and earning on each job. I mean, this is just fucking perfect, because that is perfect, because knowing where you're going wrong on each job, knowing where you're making money if you're not, and even if you're just playing with example quotes for now, just to get your head around how it all works, that's what you need to do. I think sometimes people wait until they've got a job to actually do before they start doing it. Whereas if you're just playing around with a sheet and going, okay, so that's how that works. You're sort of practicing before you even get a real job. But this is exactly what people need to be doing. Going through it, understanding the fucking numbers, going back over it and making sure that you're understanding the markup and the margin and all the rest of it. And fucking hell, like scorecard and cash flow sheet. Cash flow sheet is almost fully understood, but would be good to get a second opinion. Fine, send it over to us in your WhatsApp group. I haven't started using a scorecard yet as my laptop doesn't support the Excel format. So I'm shopping for a new laptop, something I'm keen to get on top of. Well, you can use Google Sheets, so don't worry about that too much. I don't know if you're in Academy Plus, but if you're in Academy Plus, your scorecard is loaded into your business dashboard. So you don't need to use the Excel sheet at all. It's a lot better, just so you know. But I definitely won't go out buying a laptop just for that purpose, mate. So be careful there. You can use Google Sheets if you want to use Excel, or if you're Academy Plus, then you'll find it in the Monday dashboard. But again, understanding your cash flow sheet is almost fully understood. Thank fuck for this check-in. It's restored my faith. Because again, just taking your time, I guarantee that some people just aren't, and I'm not just referring to tonight's check-ins, by the way. I'm not bashing people that have put check-ins in tonight. I am a little bit, but it's like tonight has been like the fucking straw that broke the camel's back, because I've heard this so many times now, and it's like, you sort of like, okay, like, but trying to be encouraging, but there is a point where you're like, for fuck's sake, I've got a new guy here who's literally just walked in the academy 5 minutes ago, and he's saying all these things about understanding his numbers, using his cash flow sheet properly. Because, why wouldn't you start using your cash flow sheet immediately? You don't need to be doing your own jobs to use the cash flow sheet. Even if you're doing no fucking jobs and you're still working for Wix, Ren or Howdens or whatever it is you're doing, and you're not even doing a KBB job yet, you still should be using that cash flow sheet. Because when you do start putting a job in there, you'll know exactly where you're at already. I feel like people are like, oh, I don't need to do that yet. I'll do it later. I'll do it when I'm making sales. No, fucking use it now. Get your life in there. Get everything in there so you understand where you stand financially. The reason why we put that in there and we put all your home incomings and outgoings and all the rest of it is so you know where you're at financially. So you know how to make that transition away from the tools. And you know how when you can afford and not afford to do things. Do you get what I mean? It's like, fucking hell. Like, come on. There's a guy here who's basically an apprentice who's embarrassing people that have been here a long time. Because I know that this behavior will create a brilliant business owner because it's already there, and as long as he stays focused on this, he'll be fine. He'll be more than fine. Personal growth. What progress have you made on a personal level? I've managed to plan in my 60 to 90 minute session, getting up and going to bed early, managing to go to social events without drinking or drinking too much, something I struggled with in the past and I've been working on for some time now. This is mainly because I'm focusing more on my business and my goals. Brilliant. I mean, fucking hell. Yeah. I mean, what more can I say? Just well done. Amazing work. Areas for support. Is there anything specific you need help with right now? Still struggling managing time for exercise and fitness. But with increased focus on the business, this is also linked with myself. I'm still in my current job. Yeah. But like I said before, if you're struggling sometimes we go through phases, like I said earlier, exercise and fitness might fall off a little bit, but staying hydrated, your electrolytes, supplements, water, good healthy food is keep your body fresh. Your body will survive a few weeks of intense work while you're doing other things, and just get your 10K steps in, do some press ups, do some whatever it is, do something basic. Takes you 10-15 minutes. Lots of apps out there that you can do body weight exercises. You don't need to think, I need 2 hours to go to the gym. There's lots of other things that you can do. So again, don't dine out on it as an excuse forever, because there will be times like this where you do need to go missing and just get things done. It would be good to get a second opinion on my workings out to make sure I fully understood some of my numbers from the 12 steps from step 2. Yeah, send over whatever it is that you've got and I'll review it for you. I wish more people would do it, but all I get off people is, don't really know. I'm worried about money and I'm not doing the basics. And I'm like, oh, fucking hell. I still don't know if I'm quoting properly. I mean, send me something and I'll try and help you. Message to everyone. If you put your WhatsApp group is there, like I've said, and you've got the best people in the industry that can help you with these things. Being wishy-washy with your detail and not really telling us what the problem is isn't really helpful. But if you send us something over that specifically says, I am struggling with this, what do you think about these numbers? We will look at it. But we're not mind readers. Any major concerns? Do you have any worries or challenges you'd like to discuss? Understanding when is the right time to leave. It's still a worry in the back of my head. Yeah, so obviously you're still in a job. I would like to know if anyone in the academy has been in a similar situation. There are people in your situation, which I'm not going to say the names on here because we do have some highly sensitive people. If I told you, you'd fucking laugh. You'd piss yourself laughing, actually, of some of the people that we do have in the academy that still work for certain organizations in certain positions, and your head would roll if I told you the actual truth. But I'm not going to do that. But I know that you're in a similar situation where you have a job to hold down and this is a side hustle until that gets going, and that's fine. There are people in that situation. I'm happy. If they're happy, I'm happy to connect you so you can have, the same discussion with each other. But I'd need to ask that person's permission first. If you want me to do that, let me know. I think it would be helpful for two of you to speak to each other because I know it can be difficult to navigate. But let's go back to the basics. Your cash flow sheet will tell you when it's safe to do so, and you're already using it. So you have to balance this risk. So I think that you need to work through the 12 steps, keep going. When you feel that there's traction in your business and things are starting to move, I don't know if you're in Academy Plus, I can't remember, but sorry, I can't check at the moment. But if you're in Academy Plus, then we can sort of put a good timeline on it to say that most people in Academy Plus within 3 months start to get 1 to 2 leads through the website as a general rule. In 6 to 9 months, they generally get a lot more than that through the website. But obviously, you've got to stay in it. You've got to do social media. You've got to do the other things around Academy Plus that you've got to put the effort in locally as well. So I think don't panic right now. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're thinking about it, and that's all that matters. But I wouldn't be jumping at that. I'd be taking it careful. But send us over the stuff that you need us to look at. We'll do that. And if you want me to put you in touch with the person that's in a similar boat, I'd be happy to see if they're happy with that. Okay, I'd have to ask their permission first. Looking ahead, what's the plan? My plan for the next 6 weeks is as follows: fully understand the sales process and knowing my numbers. Get a KBB kitchen sale for the CRM, brilliant, and get my Google business account back up and running to secure reviews. Get Facebook and Instagram profiles running and start posting. So you are very early on, but the fact that you're starting with your numbers and you are getting, you're just doing it perfectly. So I would say don't panic on the rest of the stuff that you talk about, moving job and all the rest of it. It's too early for that shit yet. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're starting with the numbers, the cornerstone of understanding in the business, and that is what matters. Because if you don't understand the numbers moving forward, especially for you, because you're doing a bit of a different transition, you cannot afford not to know your numbers. Yeah, you must know your numbers, and you must know them well. Because otherwise you could make a big mistake, but you won't. But this is again, you need to be careful, don't you? But we all need to be careful. I throw this numbers thing around like, it's only applies to certain people, and I think that some people actually watch these things that I do sometimes and think that what I'm saying doesn't apply to them. Fuck knows why, because we all find out later that it did. So yeah. I feel like I've been a bit negative tonight. But this is business at the end of the day. Don't take it personal. Don't worry about these things, because it is what it is. There's challenges and times where you need a fucking humbling experience to be like, right, no, come on, this is not good enough. We need to be doing the basics well. Business isn't about doing fancy things. It's about doing the basics really well. And when I see people not doing the basics, not understanding the basics, especially when they shouldn't be not understanding the basics. And again, I'm not just bashing people from tonight. There's a trend over the last few weeks and months. I've heard quite a few people now that have been here for quite a while, and what I'm hearing is you're still not quite getting the basics, step 1, 2, and 3 in the academy. You're still not there. And you're having problems because you're not absorbing or understanding certain things. And it's all around the numbers. It's all around the numbers and the routines. If you don't get them right, you'll just keep stalling. You'll go forward a bit and stall, and you go forward a bit and stall. You'll just do this all the time. If you break through that barrier of getting these bits of understanding in your head, you'll fucking fly. Can't stress enough. So let's move on to Dan now. Dan Seeley from Cornflower. Celebrating wins. What success have you experienced in the past few weeks? October, best month yet. Brilliant. 2 10K bathrooms, 2 5K construction projects, 2 small jobs, lots of inquiries, including the first organic lead. Brilliant. And how long have you been in the Academy Plus for now? Just if you can put that in your WhatsApp group, because I like to track this now. Academy Plus is becoming a bit of a sport in how quickly people get moving once they're a member in Academy Plus. Completely off the tools, really noticing the difference. I am now able to spend time reacting to inquiries and moving the business forward. Fired up after the live event, brilliant. Bark profile completed and getting reasonable leads. Cashflow healthy, money ring fenced in separate account ready for VAT, ISA, savings to start building. Brilliant. Started office refresh to give better working space. New quartz porcelain worktop supplier with showroom I can take customers to. Brilliant. New kitchen mini booklet printed. Bathroom one in progress. Completed personal standards workbook ready to embrace next year. You are ready for 2026. I can see it. I can feel it. I can smell it. Let's carry on with your check-in, but that is amazing work, mate. it's 12 steps transition. Where are you up to with this? How are you finding it so far? Currently, feeling I'm on step 12, designing my ideal work week. I would agree. Having come off the tools completely, I'm designing my time to push the business forward. I've started 12 steps again this week and started taking additional notes, things I missed on previous times to improve my processes. Yeah, that's why I say watch the 12 steps more than once, because there'll be things that you miss. It's like when you watch a film in it and you go, oh, I don't remember that bit. There's always little bits that your brain picks up when you do it again. Scorecard and a cash flow sheet. Using the old scorecard. Can't figure out the new one. I'm using my own cash flow system. Doesn't matter. The point is you're doing them. Let me have a look at this, what you've sent me. Fine. So we're not, scorecard's not looking too bad. Reviews are good. Again, fine. Could be better, as always, but there's no major concerns. The main thing is you're building your brand. I can see the reviews that you're getting are quite high. So again, your brand is well prepped for 2026. You've got your head around the numbers. You're doing your cash flow scorecard. Just for the avoidance of doubt, I did not put these check-ins in a particular order tonight, by the way. I didn't know what was going to come on each one of these check-ins. I normally spend a bit more time reading them beforehand, but I didn't. I'm literally reading a lot of these for the first time. So, yeah, it's funny that we've had a mixture starting off a certain way and ending in a better way. Hopefully we've got one more to do yet, but hopefully it stays like this. Having come off the tools completely, again, you're going back through the 12 steps, that's fine. Scorecard and a cash flow sheet. I don't care what you're using as long as you're doing something right. As long as you got the habit in, you can use my sheet, make your own sheet, whatever. Personal growth, what progress have you made? Started implementing things from personal standards workbook, notably sleep, fitness and diet, fitter than I've ever been. Brilliant. I mean, this is just great. I love the fact that the academy and the stuff that's in there is having not just a business impact on people, but it's also having a personal and health and well-being impact on people too. Areas for support. Is there anything specific you need help with right now? Could do we training videos on the Monday scorecards? We do have them coming shortly, and decent quality images for bathrooms, bedrooms, and office media walls. So we can start promoting. Yep, we are getting on with them. So leave that with me. Just drop me a note in a few days' time, and I'll get them over to you. Any major concerns? Progress, feeling good, build momentum. Keen to hear how the design process will work for home offices and bedrooms. Will there be renders, plans, etc.? I know media walls will be different. Well, what's actually happening with these is we're in the process. I shouldn't be saying too much, but I always do. We're actually in the process of designing our own media walls. So what we're going to do with media walls, because media walls are a bit of a pain in the ass, and obviously there's so many options. What we've decided to do is actually do some pre-made sets of media walls. So we'll say, right, here's a set like media wall type A, type B, type C, type D. Do you get what I mean? Where there'll be like shakers, this, just different styles. So the guys have pre-designed some really nice looking media wall sets. So yes, they will come with renders. The process will work exactly the same for offices, bedrooms, and media walls. There won't be any difference. They'll go through a similar form on the app or in the trade portal. They'll probably be on the same form, to be honest. It'll just be get a quote, select what you want, bedroom, kitchen. It'll just be the same. And then the design process will work exactly the same. We'll open a WhatsApp group, we'll put the designs in. So nothing will work differently to kitchens and bathrooms at the moment. It'll just be different type of job. But what we are doing with the media walls is creating your pre-made sets, because we understand when you go and see a customer and you go, oh, you can have whatever you want. Obviously, my comment there of like with the bespoke kitchens, people still sort of want to see stuff, which blows my mind a little bit, to be honest, with the kitchen. But I think with a media wall, we're going to do some pre-made sets. So we'll probably do like 5 to 10 of like, this type of media wall, that type of media wall, that. So you'll have a brochure eventually. Will probably take us a few weeks to get to this point. We're going to get the web pages live first, but there will be brochures that come out with media walls in. There will be ones for bedrooms and offices anyway. We've already got them. But the one for media walls is obviously a bit of an anomaly because it's being made out of some of the kitchen stuff, that all the rest of it. So we'll come back to you on that. But we are not paying lip service to the media walls, the bedrooms, and the offices. These are going to be a proper offering. It's going to be a strong offering. The support's going to be really good for design. It's going to be really good for brochures, all the rest of it. So don't worry about it. That is on its way. The team are already working on it, but we're just going to start with the web pages. Yeah, so it will be a bit, itty bitty to start with, but at least the web pages will be there. We'll get the images in the academy in step 5 in the social media bit. We'll add all the images, and we'll put some templates in there as well for media walls, bedrooms, bathrooms, or offices and stuff like that. So we will make sure you've got the assets to promote it, and then by probably the end of this month we'll have better brochures and all the rest of it. So again, getting ready for 2026 is going to go in phases. It's going to be web pages, social media, assets, brochures, and then the pre-made sets that you can price your customers based. You'll be able to give them like a rough price. You'll be able to say, right, that media wall is going to cost you $4,000. That media wall is going to cost you $5,000. That one's going to cost you $2,000. Do you get what I mean? So we'll make it so you can literally do it like that. So yeah, that's that. I hope that helps. But again, before 2026, all this will be in place. Again, that's why I said to you at the beginning of this that we're flat out at the minute trying to get ready for 2026 ourselves, because all these new services do come with a lot of headache and infrastructure that needs to be built to support it. So looking forward, what's the plan? Expecting property purchase to complete before the end of November. So December we'll be busy progressing that for new tenants. We'll need to keep focus on cornflower at the same time. Looking forward to new website pages landing so I can push those, as we just said. Continuing to push visibility. Brilliant. I have sponsored a hospital radio show for the year, and we'll be doing a 30-minute presentation to a networking event before Christmas. So we'll need to write a plan for that. Be good to have some decent marketing images for the new things. Yeah, you'll have them, as I've just said. So brilliant. So loads of good stuff there, mate. I mean, that's a really positive outlook into the new year. And by the way, I know that we've had a mixture tonight, but everyone is very well set up for the new year. I'm not knocking anyone, because I know that by the time New Year rolls around, everyone will be ready. We won't have a choice. You'll have to be. So, right, let's move on to Regal. And we've got Adam from Regal, who is another ex-partnership that's now back to being a one-man empire. And, I think that things are moving in the right direction. Hopefully. Let's read it and find out. So, celebrating wins, started a project which includes a kitchen, Verano, and is going okay, as well as onto another kitchen straight after, just a dry fit, but the Lugano range. I've also had a good quartz worktop splashback job accepted. Also a number of few internal joinery jobs to keep me busy. Starting to build good relationships with good electrician and plasterer through the current job. Had organic leads through the website. Brilliant. For a kitchen, I've also got a survey to book in for wardrobes and possible bathroom. All this without using the builder platforms. Investing in new tech for the home office is a bit of a game changer once I got it all set up and actually working. And it didn't go through the window. It is annoying setting up new tech in it, but once it's there, it's really good. So as of September and the new starts, it's looking positive. Looking positive for the building of the future and feeling more confident in general and in front of the customer. Yeah, well, it is about building that confidence to stand in front of the customer and execute your sales process. But things are definitely moving in the right direction here, mate. And isn't it funny how now we've got this momentum? As soon as you've been released from the partnership that wasn't doing you any good, now we've got some momentum. It's not a coincidence, is it? So 12 steps, mainly at the minute, gone back to working on step 1, 2, and 3 in the standards book. Brilliant. Working on learning and using the portal. Also, I've done a new plan and declaration already for the new year. Brilliant. Well, maybe everyone should do that. We should all be looking at our declarations and plans and all the rest of it. So scorecard, let's have a quick look at that. Wait, I don't know if we can open this. Oh, I can't open your scorecard for some reason. I will look at it though. If I've got any concerns, I'll come back to you properly. Declaration is very detailed, and I like that. Yeah, you're noticing that obviously family time is important here, and that you're change pressure, lack of structure, full potential. Yeah, you talk about long-term stability, freedom, wealth, creating opportunities for the future, and investing in a comfortable retirement and the ability to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Again, what I like about that declaration, what you've just redone there, I have read it. It's not all about the business, and this is what is important to understand. It's not all about business. It's about you as a person and as an individual. So 5-year plan, let's have a quick scan through this. Establish Regal as a leading brand, trusted quality service, local, dedicated showroom, have a small reliable team, more focused on role for quoting, management, coordination and overseeing customer care, quality, achieve the freedom, wealth, balance to enjoy life. Well, that's a good 5-year plan, definitely. 2-year plan, continue working on the tools. Yeah, because that's not going to go away. So it's good to be realistic. Good brand awareness across, form small install team and apprentice. Good. Delivering more profitable jobs. Begin planning for the future. Showroom design studio. Create a healthier work-life balance. Yeah, I mean, what I love about this is fucking realistic as well. 1-year plan, continue managing projects while still in the tools. Yeah, strengthen the brand across all multiple revenues. Yeah, improve quoting, scheduling, communication systems. Yeah, deliver its consistent quality. Probably going to save this as a template. Build stronger relationships with suppliers, trades, local networking. Work towards greater structure and maybe some time off the tools. In the next quarter, what we're going to do. So 5-year plan, brilliant. Vision. 2-year plan, stepping stones and milestones, and 1-year plan, realistic, sort of a continuation of where you are now, just sort of polishing your current skills. And then you've come into the next quarter. So the next 3 months, what we're going to do. Focus on improving myself, routine and staying consistent. Work my way through the academy again to rebuild skills and structure. Refine quoting, scheduling and organisation. Strengthen the relationships with suppliers, trade clients. Deliver all projects to 5-star standard and gather client reviews. Prepare the business for the next year and start strong. I mean, mate, that is the perfect plan because it's not bullshit. It's detailed and there's loads in there. That is actually a template of perfection when it comes to planning, because none of that feels like the 5-year plan. You go, oh yeah, that feels big. But then as you bring it back to today and you go look at the next quarter, you go, actually, that is all doable. It's all happening as well. That's the good thing. So well done. That is absolutely mint. Personal growth. What progress have you made on a personal level? Create a new routine to work towards. I can share it in the WhatsApp group if you want. Yeah. I've stopped drinking in the week and I've been getting up at 5 a.m, committing to my 90-minute sessions using the planner at last. Haha. Struggled the last few days due to being hard on the tools. I think I say this every time, but I feel like I'm dealing with stressful situations better, maybe starting to think more logically and less emotionally. 100%. And I would say that, I'd double down on that a little bit and say, your attitude towards everything, you're operating from a place of clarity now. And when you operate from a place of clarity, you just make better decisions. And I feel like when there was 2 of you in the room, it was like, there was no fucking direction, was there? There was sort of ideas and talk, but not a lot actually happening. And the momentum was there early on, but then when it got serious, it's like, what's going on there? But now that you haven't got that noise around you, you've really got it together, and that is I wouldn't say it's a surprise. I don't mean that it's a surprise like I wasn't expecting it, but it's always interesting to see how people are going to react after a split in business. It's a tricky time, and it's where you have to be comfortable being on your own. And I feel like you've had that wobble. I know you wobbled at the beginning where it was like, fuck, I'm on my own. But I think now you're embracing the fact that you're on your own, and the fact that you're in control means that 5-year plan is completely up to you. That is all your decisions between now and that plan are what will decide if that happens or not. Your destiny is no longer in anyone else's hands. And I feel like deep down, you're probably relishing that fact. Although it's a little bit scary, like it is for all of us, but being in control of it is fucking what you want. Areas for support. Is there anything you need specifically with help with? So I'd like some support getting back on track in my health and fitness routine. Around 4 years ago, obviously you got your pre-diabetic, gave me a real wake-up call, made major lifestyle changes, managed to completely reverse it. So I know what works when I'm focused, structured mindset. Lately, though, it's been tough to stay consistent with nutrition and exercise. My wife's shifts means she's homeless. My current workload, it's easy to slip in to convenience mode with meals and miss some training sessions. I know what I need to do. I'm just struggling to find the structure and accountability to make it happen again. Support around getting a simple, sustainable system back in place would make a big difference right now. Okay, right, fine. Well, just booking a call with us then, mate. Let's have a chat about that one. But I think this is the first thing that springs to mind here, and this might help, is a bit like when you plan your 90-minute sessions in a week. Yeah. Well, what else do you think you need to plan? Yeah. Your food, what you're going to cook, when you're going to exercise, when, how, so if she's working shifts and all the rest of it, you've got to plan everything, not just your 90-minute sessions. You've got to think, right, okay, health and exercise becoming a problem. Let's just pick 2 slots in the week where I'm going to do some resistance training and make sure I get 10,000 steps a day in. How am I going to do that? And stay hydrated and water. So I feel like here you've become reactive in this space. Now, what we do is when we feel like we're going to have plenty of time, we don't plan. So, because we think we'll just get it done, right? But when time gets tight, we just don't do things. Yeah, because when time gets tight, we become reactive. So if you know that time is going to be tight and you know that things are going to be a challenge anyway, then on that Sunday, you must plan the week ahead in terms of your health routine. So I'd like you to do that first, actually. I'd like you to do what I've just said for a week and see if that helps, because I'm guaranteed that it will. I feel like unless you're sat there saying, yeah, but I do plan these and it's still not working, then fine, let's have a chat. But, I feel like maybe you're not planning those things. You're not saying to yourself strictly, I'm going to work out at that time. I'm going to make sure I do that at that time. And, or at least make sure within the week I'm getting a couple of these things done and actually focusing on it. It's not happening because your brain's not focused on it. You need to get it on the table. Yeah. Not hope to do it, not do it, and then go, oh, I didn't do it. Go, right, I'm going to do it. That's when I'm going to do it. And then even if you do slip, you've not done it. So you go, right, I'll do it there. And you move it around, you get what I mean? So I think that not having it on the table ahead of time is probably what the problem is here. It's like I put in my diary when I'm going to train. So I put my gym sessions in the diary. So they're the first thing that go in the fucking diary, to be honest. Before my 90-minute sessions, I put my training in there first. Everything goes in the diary for me. It's, that's my training block. These are my 90-minute blocks. Yeah. And that's how I work. But I don't miss them. I make sure that I'm on point with them all the time. Not all the time. Don't get me wrong. There are days where it doesn't happen, but I tend to oversubscribe myself. I tend to put, 8 to 12 90-minute sessions in a week. I'll always miss some, but at least I get 7 or 8 in, which is fucking well more than most people. And training, I'll put 6 slots in a week for training. If I hit all 6, great. But if I only hit 4, even if I only hit 50%, I've done 3. Do you get what I mean? And that is still more than okay. So this is what I'm saying. Oversubscribing yourself to commit is better sometimes, because then you think, well, you're allowing yourself to fail a little bit, because even at a failure of 30%, you're still going to do really well. Does that make sense? I sort of said this at the event. Like at the minute, my routine's changed again. So I'm doing 2 90-minute sessions every morning and then 2 at the weekend. So that's 12 in a week. And, I might not hit some of them, but if I get 7 or 8 in, then fucking hell, that's great. Do you know what I mean? Because I've still done a lot of work, focused. I've still done a lot of work, more than most fucking people, and I'll still do better than most people because I've done that. Do you get what I mean? And same with the training. So if I put 6 in and they only hit 3, great. I'm still going to get bigger and stronger and healthier that week. I've still made progress. I haven't gone backwards. Do you get what I'm saying? So when we don't put it in there and we don't do it at all, we fucking go backwards. So that hopefully that as a planning technique is going to be useful for you. Any major concerns? No need to keep anything personal. Happy to speak about it all of the above on the live stream. Good, because I've already done it. But I did see that before. I think the only thing holding me back is me. But as I mentioned above, I know what to do. I also feel like it might just be my age and getting older. A few more aches and pains, creaks. Don't go down the road of using that as an excuse, mate. You're very young. You've got loads of time. You don't start telling yourself stories like that because they're dangerous. You're a young man. Get on with it. You're strong. You're healthy. You've got a plan. You're focused. You've got the support around you. It's all yours. This just got to go and get it. And obviously, looking ahead, what's the plan? What's the best way to support you? I've seen your planning declaration. Hopefully, I've given you what you need there in terms of some advice on planning and hitting some targets to make sure that you stay on track. And even if you don't stay on that track, you're still on a really good track. What we got to be careful of is that we don't slip back. Okay, right. So that's it for tonight. We've done 7 check-ins. We're on to an hour and a half. We've done a lot tonight, and I feel like there's been a mixed bag. Just to summarize, few frustrating moments. I don't normally summarize the check-ins, but I feel like I need to because I feel like I bashed a little bit tonight. But I also feel like the responsibility of your businesses sits with you. If you can't get your head into numbers, basic quoting, numbers, cash flow, making the right decisions on what type of jobs to do at this stage, that you're doing something wrong. And again, making loads of sales and being really good at that doesn't mean that we're good at everything. And that's making sales is the fucking easy bit. To be fair, the numbers is the even easier. It's just that people don't sit back and go, right, I understand these numbers properly. We're causing ourselves unnecessary stress because we're not just slowing down a little bit and focusing and learning these really core basics of what I've said. And step 1, 2, and 3 in the academy for most people tonight need to go back to step 1, 2, and 3 and get them nailed in before the new year. They're the steps you need to focus on. Everyone's got some pointers from tonight. If anything doesn't make sense or you want any more chats or you need any more support around anything that was said tonight, please use your WhatsApp groups, okay? We've got the stream next Wednesday where we'll be talking about probably inner circle meetings that are coming up. So they will be on the radar shortly. So yeah, we've got a lot going on between now and the new year. Don't forget, you've got another interview on Sunday. This Sunday's interview is with Luke, which is a really, really good interview. So please don't miss this one. It is a really good interview, this. They're all good, but this one I particularly got a lot from myself in terms of learning what's good for Academy members and you guys in general. The amount of learning I took from them interviews is immense, and you will do the same if you dial into them properly, okay? So interview on Sunday again. They're going to keep going till Christmas. We've got obviously next Wednesday the stream. Get your check-ins in you've got a week Monday now to get the rest of the check-ins in. Again, these are the ones that I've picked for the stream. Some are done in some are done in private. But yeah, we've got loads of good stuff happening. Everything that I've seen and heard tonight is normal. I know it feels like I bashed people a little bit, but it's just normal. Yeah, don't get too emotional about it. Let's just crack on. We're here to get ready for 2026 and make sure next year is an absolute stormbuster. Okay? Right. Have a good evening, what's left of it, and I shall speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.